Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, a warm welcome to you as well. Today's video will be talking about how I started my debt-free journey. In August 2018, I had my sunflower. After having azalea, I actually knew that something needed to change. I was now a mother, and my husband and I were still in a long distance relationship. I was not smart with money and accumulated a lot of credit card debt. And I also had a car note. These were the only two things that actually was like worrying me or something that was hanging over my head. Now you drop a baby in the mix. It got real quick. Before I had azalea, I actually had saved up a little bit of money to actually cover my living expenses while I was on maternity leave. However, the money that I saved up would not be able to cover rent. It would be able to cover like my regular bills, like my phone bill, my car note, my credit card payments, and like little stuff that needed to be done in between, but it wouldn't cover my full rent. So I was lucky enough to have azalea in the month when my lease was ending. So my plan was once my lease ended, I would be moving all my things into storage and basically going to Jamaica. But while I was doing all that planning, I said to myself, well, I did not want to raise a child in Oklahoma. Out of personal preference, I just chose not. I did not want to. So I actually said this to my mom, and she suggested that I move to Florida, or move to Orlando, Florida to be specific, where I have family. So what we did was at the end of August 2018, yeah, the end of August 2018, I actually packed up my stuff and I moved with a newborn to Orlando, Florida. I placed my personal belongings into a storage, and I actually spent like a week or so, and then I flew to Jamaica. So moving to Jamaica, well, spending 3 months in Jamaica for my maternity leave actually gave me the time to bond with my family and also to reevaluate my life. So that was a really good move on my part. But the 3 months did go by pretty fast. I actually could not believe it was time to actually start job hunting again. I knew that I was not going to be able to take a staff job in Florida at the time based on the money that I needed to actually start my life in Florida. So what I did was take a travel contract. So my travel contract actually started in November 2018, and in December 2018, I joined a financial education group on Facebook. This group, I think it was like basically heaven sent. It had a large following of people who had different financial goals. The goals that stuck out for me was people that were posting that they paid off their credit cards, they paid off their car payment, they paid off their homes. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like, I want to be that person. I didn't have a home to pay off, but I had credit cards and I had a car note. So I'm like, I want to know how. So every day I would go on this Facebook group. After I joined, I would go on this Facebook group and I will go through the post, and on the post that talk about the paying off credit card or paying off their car note, I will go through the comments and I will grab every little suggestions, every little tips. And if they posted about a Facebook group, I was following. If they posted about a YouTube channel, I subscribed. If they post about a podcast, I subscribed. So every little detail or information that they posted in that group, I was grasping it. I was getting everything because I wanted to learn and I wanted to get out of debt. After a while, I ended up downloading multiple spreadsheets, and I also bought a few books because not only did I want to be debt free now, all these people were talking about building their credit. No, I wanted to build my credit. I was aware of the whole building your credit, but not in so much details. And all these people were talking about how they were building their credits and how they were paying off debt. So this really motivated me to actually push myself to actually work a little bit harder. In December, after having all this new information, it did light a fire under me, but I guess the fire was not hot enough because I basically spent the whole of 2019 traveling as a nurse and having poor money management skills. So the change I wanted to make was now on the back burner, and I was basically drowning in retail therapy. And just to get a little personal, when you're traveling, it gets lonely, especially because you do not have friends or family around. So a lot of people do different things to cope with their loneliness. For me, it was Amazon and buying new clothes. So it was Amazon, buying new clothes, and trust me, I do not go out that much to be buying clothes or shoes like that. So basically, I was using retail therapy to fill that loneliness or that, yeah, basically to fill that loneliness in my life, which was not good. So remember when I was talking to you about going through that Facebook group and actually subscribing to podcasts and subscribing to YouTube channels and following Facebook pages? Okay, so one of the podcasts that I actually subscribed to was the Dave Ramsey Podcast. At the start, I listened, but I was not really listening, if you get what I mean. So I would play it and it would be playing in the background, but I wasn't actually listening to learn. So now I decided, let me go back to this. So in August 2019, I actually started listening to learn. I did not start all the things that I wanted to do, but I was listening to the podcast. So I started listening to the podcast religiously. So I would play it in the morning while I'm getting ready for work, and I would actually be like, oh, that's a good point. Oh, that's a good point. And I was like, wow, I was so dumb. I was so dumb and stupid with my money. Like, I was listening to all these people calling in, and they were making, for example, less than what I'm making, and they were paying down debt. They had a home. They basically have a fully funded emergency account, and I didn't have that. And I felt horrible. Like, I was like, what I've had what like basically what have I been doing? What have I been doing for all these years? I'm working, and I basically did not have something to show for it. And I felt bad. I felt bad, and I knew that I needed to feel bad in order to start doing the right things to feel good. So, although it made me feel horrible inside, it did kind of had the wheels turning. The wheels were turning in my head, and I was like, yeah, no more time for jokes. You have a child, you have a family, you have your husband. You need to get on this. You need to get serious, because I'm no longer living for myself. I'm living for my daughter, and I'm living for my husband, and I need to get my life together. So in October 2019, I finally made the move to get serious. I was now going to try or attempt, I was now going to attempt the Dave Ramsey baby steps. And these are the 7 baby steps to financial peace. And I was like, all right, I'm ready. Let's do this. So now, guys, I'm going to put up a chart. And this chart is basically going to talk about, like, basically list the 7 baby steps. And we are going to basically walk through them right now. So the first baby step is to save $1,000. This $1,000, it is small, yes, but it is just for any emergency that may come up while you're doing your baby steps. So you're going to take this $1,000 and put it into a savings account. This is supposed to be an account that is easily accessed to you. So don't put it on an online account and then it takes 3 to 5 days to transfer. You need this to be readily available to you, okay? So that's baby step number 1, save $1,000. Baby step number 2 is to pay off debt using the debt snowball. And I will put a definition of the debt snowball here. See? All right. Baby step number 3 is to save 3 to 6 months of living expenses. I know that baby step number 3B is not on this, but 3B is actually to save for the down payment of your home. Baby step number 4 is to invest 15% of income into tax-favored retirement. So these tax-favored retirement accounts can be, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just letting you know, for example, what I use: a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA, or a HSA, or if you have a 401k with your employer. Baby step number 5 is to save for college. Baby step number 6 is to pay off your house. And baby step number 7 is to build wealth and give generously. So I realized that while I was working on my baby steps and I was traveling, my 3rd travel contract for the year of 2019 was coming to an end, and I was doing per diem. So while I was doing per diem, this is like part-time job for an agency, and they send you to different facilities to work. So while I was doing that, I realized that sometimes my shifts would get canceled, and I will be like on a Saturday, which is like the last work day, and they will cancel. So I would end up only having 2 days, or 3 days out of the 4 or 5 that I needed. So what I actually did was start entertaining the idea of finding a staff job so I could have security, like a job security. So with job security, you know that you're going to get your pay. You know that you will get your shifts. You may not get your overtimes, but you will get your 3 days, and you know that would work. So I applied. I decided that I did not want to do telemetry anymore for a while. I wanted a break from telemetry and step down. So I decided to do psychiatry. Well, go back to psychiatry. I've worked psychiatry before, but to actually apply for a position in psychiatry because the facility was close to where I live. So I applied there and I got in. However, the job would not start until I had applied around, I think it was September, the end of September, and they weren't hiring until in mid-November. So I still had to do my per diem job, which was okay because I knew before the end of the year I would be secured with a staff job. So I did the per diem job. I took some overtime with that per diem job, and I ended up working like 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week. So after I got the staff job in November, I was still doing per diem before and doing overtime with them and paying down debt. But after I got the staff job, I still continued doing my per diem shifts. And in December 2019, I actually took my debt from $22,000 to $12,000. So I actually ended up paying off $10,000 in like three to 4 months. October, November, December. 3 months. So I was really proud. I actually stopped doing the per diem in February because in February 2020, I took my debt from the $12,000 to down to $7,000. And in April 2020, I became debt free. It was the most freeing feeling, and I was super proud of myself. The financial peace journey will still continue. This is just the second baby step of paying down debt. So now I was on baby step 3. And baby step 3 is to actually save 3 to 6 months of living expenses. After working a few overtime, I actually achieved 3 months living expenses, and I was okay with that because I wanted to start saving on my home. So after saving the 3 months living expenses, I started to push my savings towards the down payment of my home. So now we are currently on baby step 3B. So guys, this journey was not easy. I thought I could enter some numbers in a spreadsheet and I could read some books and it would have helped me to get to my goal. It didn't. It didn't. You have all this information with no work. It wasn't gonna work. It was not gonna work. But this journey took discipline, it took sacrifice, and it actually took commitment. I found myself driving an hour or like an hour and 15 minutes for a part-time job just to get my hours in, to get the money that I needed to achieve these goals. I really did not want my family to start out trying to pay off debt that I accumulated. It would be unfair to them. So I wanted my husband, at least, that is coming from a different country, to actually come and start with a clean slate. Okay? I'm so happy with the journey, regardless of how hard it was at times. I actually think I did pretty good. So guys, if you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and remember to share it. Also, if you like the content that I'm creating on this channel, remember to go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, remember to hit the bell so you can be notified every single time I post a video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you next time.